Let's begin in a comfortable seat. Whatever you finding the support of the earth, relaxing those shoulders down, gently closing the eyes. Bringing your attention to your breath, to your body, to your wholeness. If you're feeling extra jumpy or chaotic or energetic inside, maybe bring the chest and one to the belly just to find a little bit more of that grounding support, connecting to the wisdom of the body, trusting that if you listen, it'll tell you what feels good and what feels right. And really setting your intention now to honor that wisdom. Relax that jaw. Find that posture that is alert and elongated and also relaxed and comfortable. Five breaths together. So exhale out all of your air and then inhale nice and big. At the top, inhale a little more. Exhale through the mouth. And again, inhale. See if you can zip in a little more air. Exhale. Exhale. And on your last two, exhaling with an Om. 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 And relaxing those hands on knees and taking a moment in stillness. Moving really mindfully into child's pose, is as wide or as narrow as feels good. You stretch out long in front of you, or possibly you bring them behind you, if that feels. Forehead resting on the floor. Scanning your body for any areas that being love without judgment and reinforce the stability and foundation of the earth in order to release. Meeting me on all fours, wrists stacked under shoulders, knees stacked under hips. And just stay in this neutral tabletop for a couple of breaths. Maybe it feels good to sway hips side to side or to make some circles with the hips. And then coming back to neutral and seeing a bit more active of a shape than child's pose. But notice where you're gripping and you don't need to be. Can you release tension between your shoulder blades or in your belly or in your toes or jaw? Let your head drop and hang heavy, maybe side to side. Making your own rhythm for your own practice, linking movement to breath. And then dropping that belly, shining that heart forward in cow pose. And then rounding that spine, tilting tailbone down, cat. And inhaling into cow, shine your heart forward, exhaling into cat. Continue moving through that at whatever pace feels most nourishing. Again, seeing if you can zip in a little more air at the top of your inhale. And at the bottom of your exhale, can you empty a little more out? And when you feel complete, return. Tucking all 10 toes, bringing ankle bones together as close as you can, knees together, and sitting back in that toe pose. So you're sitting atop your 10 toes. We're going to be here for just a bit, so try to find your breath here. If ever it's too much, of course, come out. You can always come back in. Right hand over to left hip, and then holding your own hand and tilting right ear to right shoulder without scooching that. Let that stay relaxed. And neck back up to neutral. Release those hands. And other side, left hand to that right hip. Hold your own hand. Tilt left shoulder and breathe. Inviting whatever comes to rise. And head back to neutral, releasing arms, releasing those toes, and coming back to that tabletop position. Exploring some lateral movement with our spine. So, looking over our right shoulder while your hip pops over to the left, and then switching. Now, this compression in left side body and this opening in right side body. Switching, inhale, and side. A couple more, your own breath. Before we transition, trusting whatever organic movement your body wants to do. And sometimes that organic movement is stillness. And when you're ready, returning to that neutral tabletop, walk handprint forward, spread all 10 fingers wide. See if you can, that beneath the index finger, that index finger mound, see if you can find some gentle pressure into the floor with that to help protect the wrist. Tuck all 10 toes and meet me really gently in your downward facing dog. Knees can be super bent really early in our practice. Walk out that dog and then the other. Remembering dropping both heels and your hip over to the left, right. Just really moving side to side. This can be really organic and look like your own too. And returning to stillness when you're ready. Energetically sending that heart toward your thighs. Energetically, heels work their way to the floor. Right leg raises up behind you. forward into your lunge, right foot steps in front, back knee drops down and rise. See if those shoulders can come away from the ears a little bit. Let's find a gentle the elbows, cactus those arms in a gentle back bend. And then hands come to the floor. Plant that left hand and simple twist up to the sky with the right. A few breaths in this twist. And bringing that hand back down. Maybe that heel scooches out in front toward the top of your mat and then straighten in split. Flex those toes up toward the sky. Right here, your hip is stacked over your knee in like a 90-degree angle. So make whatever adjustments. And rotate that pinky toe toward the earth. Rotation. And breathe. Rotate back to center. Maybe even touching the toes down to the ground in more of a point. And you can flex and point if that feels good, or rotate out in. And then left toes into the earth, lift that back knee up off the earth, and heel toe that right foot to the outside of your mat. So you're in this really like lizard line. Right hand to open that hip. You can always drop that back knee. I'm going to do that today. Drop that back knee. You can bring those elbows down to the earth if you have props. Of course, those elbows can come up on your props. You can really let that right foot rotate to the knife edge, the pinky edge of the foot. Just let it kind of. And then press back up on those hands. If you came down, walk that foot back to center. Tuck those back toes, knee lifts, and just step. Walk out that dog if that feels good. Left leg raises behind you, three-legged dog, and then scoop through into lunge. Drop that back knee, untuck the toe and raise. Anjana. Baby back bend, cactus those arms. And hands drop to the floor. Plant that right hand, left hand twists up to the sky. Make any adjustments you need to feel spacious here, like you can breathe here, like you can really feel your body softening into this depth. And left hand plants. Maybe you scooch that right heel toward the top of your mat. Find half split. You can really round that head hang heavy in space. Rotate that foot open, so pinky toe toward the mat. Mm. Back to center, point those feet to the earth, and then find your rhythm here with flexing and pointing or opening and closing. Mm. And then coming back to your lunge, arms up. Let's come through prayer. Plant both hands on the right side of your left foot, the inside, and then heel toe out into that lizard lunge. And again, you can tuck those toes and lift the back knee for a little more of an active pose here, if that's what you're craving today. Or you can keep that knee on the earth, a little more passive, reaping all the same benefits though. Letting that knee sort of splay open, that pinky edge, maybe coming down to elbows if that feels good. And finding some deep, full breaths here. If you've been practicing along with us, you know what breaths you love the most. Maybe it's a hum, maybe it's a sigh, maybe it's lion's breath with your mouth open wide and your tongue out, but give yourself that treat of these really regulating breath work practices. Mm. Mm. And coming back up on both hands, walking that foot back to center of mat, and meeting back in downward facing dog. Any movements here or stillness, just notice what your body is asking you for and grant it. Rolling forward into a quick plank pose. Option always to drop those knees. A count of 5, slowly lowering down to the earth. Once there, untucking those toes, hands right below the shoulders. And using your back muscles, finding your cobra pose. So you don't need to be very big with it. um, you don't need to be an aggressive cobra. It can just be really slight. And then releasing to the earth. Again, inhaling cobra. Exhaling, release. One more, inhale, cobra. Exhale, left ear to the mat. Hands can come running down by your sides, palms up. And just taking a moment to come back right here right now, right here, right now. And turning right ear onto the mat. Right here, right now. And head coming back to neutral, looking down at your mat and coming through a push up, or you can definitely move through all fours, touching your knees to the earth, meeting me back in your downward facing dog. We're going to flow through what we did a little bit quicker this time with just a couple changes here and there that I'll talk you through. But trust that you know it. Trust that you can't do anything wrong on your mat. Right leg raises, bend and step it through into that lunge. Back knee drops, arms raise. Lion's breath. Inhale, arms straighten. Exhale, lion's breath, back bend. Inhale, arms straighten, hands plant to the earth. Simple twist, right arm to the sky. And hand comes down, pull back into that half split. Toe points, toe flexes, toe points, toe flexes. Left hand plants, another twist. Right hand comes down, back into that lunge, arms up. Plant that right hand behind you on your thigh or your calf. Humble warrior, gentle back bend, left arm coming up and over. And windmill those arms to the earth. Toe heel out to the outside of your mat, lizard lunge, untuck those back toes and knees. Another twist. Right arm plants. Back knee. Lift up those left toes. And see if you want to just reach for them with your right hand. If not, just stay in that bend. That's beautiful too. Down, walk that foot back into center, hands on the outside of the foot, either side of the foot, and step back into your downward facing dog. And let's go on the other side. Left leg raises up, steps through into that lunge, back knee plants, arms up, inhale, exhale. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, back bend, lion's breath. Inhale, arms up, hands plant, simple twist. Both hands down to the earth, half split. Point that toe down, flex it up, point that toe down, flex it up. Same way, simple twist in your half split. Hand plants back into that lunge, arms raise up. Drop that right arm, left arm down, right arm comes up and over, humble warrior, or excuse me, exalted warrior. What am I saying? Windmill those arms down to the earth. Pick up that back knee. Walk out that left foot to the outer edge of your mat. Same twist here in our lizard lunge. Hand plants back down. Maybe do a little rock forward and back on that toe if that feels good. Back knee and lifting up that toe, pointing to the sky. And if you want, reaching toward that left toe, pull it in and really feel that quad opening, coming to life. Wherever you are, guaranteed beautiful. Coming back down and meeting me back in your downward facing dog. Walking out those legs, that was some real beautiful, beautiful work. Coming down into your child's pose. Maybe creating a little pillow with your hands and resting your forehead on that. And meeting me on your seat in a seated position. Straightening left leg out, right leg sort of crossing over on top, and then walking that right foot off, maybe even to off your mat to an area where your knees are kind of stacked over each other. This is not a perfect science, and every body is different. Now, this is a beautiful place to stay, or you can bend into that left leg. And again, find your shape. It can be interesting to see if you can kind of keep your feet in line so one isn't like way back. So see where you are there. Again, if you chose to stay here, that's beautiful. We are going to just gently fold forward, finding a round in that spine, letting that head hang heavy. Maybe it's even resting on a knee. Using props where they can help you to soften and to release, like if you need to bring the earth up closer to you. We have moved into the yin. So beautiful job flowing, getting that sort of mobilizing the sympathetic nervous system in a safe environment. And now we're coming down and entering our parasympathetic. So really, really nourishing our nervous system on both spectrums, building that resilience, doing it together. It's beautiful. This is a really great place to say something kind to yourself. Slowly rolling up, head arriving last. Unraveling yourself from your shape. Pausing. Maybe finding a gentle rock. Hmm. And then lengthening right leg. Left leg crosses over, toes walk themselves out. So knees are roughly stacked. Beautiful place to stay, or bending into that right knee, and take your time to find your shape. I love yin because they don't call them poses, to strip out even more of that performance of it. They call them shapes, which I think is so beautiful. And you take your time to find your shape, to find that edge that's not a place where you're holding and sort of grinning and bearing it, a place that you can breathe through, still relax your jaw. Um, so it's different for everybody. They say it's about like 70% of your edge. And then once you're there, rounding down, letting that spine really round, letting that head drop. And then finding stillness in your shape for a length of time, which for us is about 2 minutes. You can always reassess your edge and then come back to your stillness. 3 more deep breaths. Conscious breaths, paying attention to the rise and the fall, the filling and the emptying. And in your own time, unraveling from that shape, excuse me. Maybe a little swoosh, swoosh side to side with your feet, or you can come back to that bent knee rock. And we're going to make our way down onto our backs. If you have a bolster, um, I'm going to recommend putting it sort of lengthwise, running down your spine. If you don't, rolled up like beach towel can be thing. That's okay too. You'll just come right onto your back. This is just a little extra of a heart opener. So also if you're feeling really already open and sensitive today, you can forego the bolster, bringing the soles of your feet to touch and coming into that Supta Baddha Konasana. If this king, sometimes I like to put a little height under my head, like a blanket or a little pillow. So you can explore that too. You don't have to think, oh, why doesn't this shape feel good to me? My teacher told me it should. Make it feel good for you. Really tuning in our stillness, bringing more awareness to all of that aliveness inside, the humming and the beating and the coursing. We're here for 5 more conscious, connected rounds of breath. Mm. 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 And if you're on a prop, just meeting me flat on your back on the earth, really slowly, really maintaining that sense of calm. Both knees coming into the chest, giving them a tight hug. Be finding a rock back and forth on your sacrum. And then keeping your big toes to touch, knees opening, And then see if you can grab on to either the tops of your ankles or the tops of your shins, knees. And again, the toes can start to move apart a bit, but we just want that knees are wider than the toes and find a way that holds yourself so that you can release all of that holding that your hips are doing. And if this is just simply not for you, tight ball in your rock. And when you're ready, opening up into happy baby, soles of the feet toward the sky, holding on to any good. Seeing if you can let your back, your entire back, lay on the ground, melt into the earth. Your neck, your head, everything being held. We're going to spend another minute in our happy baby in stillness. Relax those feet. Relax that jaw, the space between the eyes. 2 more breaths to see if you can fully let it go. Your shoulders, your arms. Let everything be held. And then fold those feet in and then collapse. Finding some circles with those hips, really massaging that sacrum in a circular. I like to hold on to the tops of my knees for this, but really you can just do it without holding too. Arms just switching direction. And then planting both feet onto the earth, knees are the sky, dropping both knees over to the left, dropping both knees over to the right. Palm knees up toward the sky. Exhale, drop left. Inhale up. Exhale, drop right. A couple more just like this. And on your next inhale, meeting back. Knees at the sky, feet planted, lightly in the earth. Bring awareness to your toes. Are you gripping or clutching where you could just be being? Coming into dead bug, both legs up toward the sky and both arms up toward the sky. The flow of our blood. Maybe it feels good to find a little sway on the sacrum side to side. Or maybe stillness is what you're craving. Letting those knees be slightly bent, feet relaxed, elbows relaxed. 3 more deep breaths here. Hugging knees into chest. One more time in that happy baby, but this time rocking that baby. When you're rocking to the right, you work that left knee just towards straight or close to, and then left. And extend long arms up above you, long, walking both feet to the left corner of your mat and both hands to the top left corner of your mat. Banana shape. You can cross your ankles or grab wrist, really whatever allows you to be comfortable here, like almost like you could fall asleep in this banana shape. Those right ribs. Really slowly coming back to center. Taking a moment here. And then walk both feet toward the right bottom corner of your mat. Both arms and hands to the right top corner. Find your banana shape. And settle in. great moment to notice how for an hour you were really here for yourself, holding yourself, honoring yourself, and not necessarily this thing we call yoga, but because you were listening and paying attention and noticing without judgment and bringing love. And coming back slowly to arms come down by your side and taking your precious time to find your Shavasana, your final resting pose. Maybe it feels good to let your legs be really wide, wider than your mat. Giving yourself this final gift of practice. We're going to end our practice like we so often do in Shavasana, with the hope being you just take moments to integrate your practice and to rest and to do nothing, just to be. When you do begin to do it slowly and intentionally, waking up your body and then your spirit. I'm so honored to just get to guide you through all this love, all this collective hope. And with that, the in me sees and holds and cherishes the light in all of you. Namaste.